Today I'm going to show off the best watches you could buy right now for average to smaller size wrists. Let's get into it! Yes, and welcome to the Mad Watch Collector Show. And today I'm going to show you some fabulous watches from my collection I think you should definitely know about and consider buying in 2025. Now, recently I've been a bit miffed by a couple of comments in some of the shows I've done in the last couple of weeks, and they're somewhere in the line of, stop reviewing watches for kids. Why don't you review watches for men's sizes? Dear, dear, dear. Now listen, you guys know I only tend to review watches I actually want myself. Now, I've got a 6.5 inch wrist, which is slightly smaller than average. It's what you do with it that counts. Thank you, yes. But if a newly released watch that say was 45 millimeters in diameter just came out, I wouldn't really be interested. But that is not to say that I would not wear it and rock it. There are a few small wristers out there that are a bit scared when they see a watch's diameter over 40 millimeters. But I have shown over the months and years that brands like Seiko, who make big watches, fit all sizes of wrists, can be worn by us. And there are a ton of watches I've reviewed over 40 millimeters that us small wristers don't need to be scared about. The key magic dimension I've always looked at first is the dial diameter, which should be the size of the movement, but that's a different subject. If that dial size is over 30 millimeters, I don't think it's going to look particularly good on my wrist. That's not to say I wouldn't try it, but it's not in my wheelhouse. Today I thought I'd give you a collection of 9 watches I own from 40 millimeters and under, except for one, that I know you would absolutely love to wear. Some just released, some that have been around for years, and one that's on pre-order right now. Anyway, let's show you some of my watches that I am darn proud of wearing. Are you, small wrist, but it's what you do with it that counts, ready? Let's go. Now, before we open up the watch box, it's the watch that's on my wrist. Still the king of divers for me, the Black Bay 58. I went on a rant not long ago of how crappy I think Tudor's business tactics are, bringing out dud-size watches to then only release the watch in 2, 3, 4 years' time, the size it should have been in the first place. But I still cannot deny that this Tudor Black Bay 58 is still my favourite dive watch I've ever handled or reviewed. 39 millimeters, 11 mil thick, 46, 47 lug to lug, and this Black Bay 58 just feels warm. It honestly feels like a nice warm hug. But I love the brand, the history of the brand, the history of dive watches for the brand, and it has the best bezel action on a dive watch. Super! Now this one cost around £2,700 back in 2020. It's around £3,500 now, I think. I still think that's great value. When you do compare them to the likes of the Submariner and Omega Seamaster, this watch is certainly a hero to many. Fits my wrist a dream! Right, first watch out of the box is my Vulcain Skindiver GMT. Now, I don't think there's a better brand than Vulcain that gives you true vintage watches done in a modern way in terms of sizes, thickness of watches, and the fact they've gone above and beyond to celebrate Vulcain's heritage in their current lineup. And they've sort of set the standard for me when we talk about Swiss independent brands. Now, this watch is based on the Skindiver they brought out in the late 50s, but it has an office GMT Swiss movement inside. The Soprod C125, automatic, 4 Hertz with a 42 hours of power reserve. Now, this watch is a phenomenal 38.2 millimeters in diameter. It's a 200 meter diver, and it's only 12.2 millimeters thick, even with that domed sapphire glass. The bi-directional bezel is ceramic, but I love the logo, I love the dial. But a beautiful watch on this bracelet. I don't think I've seen a bracelet like this watch. The links are very long, quite flat. It's all solid though, and we do get a rather tasty on-the-fly adjustment. It's a phenomenal Swiss watch. It's going to cost around £2,000, and I think for the brand historically that is far superior than Tudor, and certainly made bigger waves in the watch industry, what with their mechanical alarm cricket, I think it's decent value. Next up, a watch I have massively enjoyed over the last year, and that is the Christopher Ward Sealander C63 GMT. Now, there aren't many brands out there doing a 36mm Swiss GMT, I tell you that. So when I found out that Christopher Ward were doing it, I jumped on this straight away. I also had to get it with this beautiful dragonfly blue dial, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. It actually reminds me of the new Alpinist that has just come out. But honestly, people, if you are after a phenomenally well-made Swiss watch at around £1,000, I don't think there are many brands that beat Christopher Ward. The bracelet is absolutely phenomenal. The case finishing is beautiful. The applied markers, the handset. Honestly, if Tissot were to bring out a watch like this, it would be £2,500 to £3,000. But because Christopher Ward doesn't really have much history and is a British-based brand that have prided itself over the years of giving the customer as much value as they can make, it's at a phenomenal price. And together with the bracelet and the machined case, this watch wears so well. Yes, it has the reminiscent looks of a Rolex Explorer 2 with the stainless steel 24-hour bezel and the orange GMT hand, but not enough that it pulls away the looks of a Christopher Ward watch. And there are so many details like the signed crown, the counterbalance seconds hand, the sapphire display case back, that just makes you think it's premium, which it is. I've absolutely loved wearing this watch. You can get it in a white dial and I think another couple of other dials, but this one's awesome. Next up, it's the MDVR. Yes, the dive watch that I have designed with the help of Radcliffe Watches. The watch launched 2 weeks ago and we've only got 1 week left on pre-orders. Once the window closes, there will be no more of these watches made. And I know a lot of people are going to miss out and not realize it. Now, this is a culmination of all of my favorite watches I own, with the playfulness of me as a kid growing up, looking at watches and films like James Bond. Essentially, this watch is based on a Seamaster 120 that has Seiko all over it, Vertex all over it, CWC all over it, and it's a watch I am hugely proud of. Now, this 200-meter diver has a party trick to it. Inside we have a GMT movement, a Miyota 9075, which means this is a 4 hertz movement, but instead of having a hand telling you another time, behind the dial, we have a color wheel, which, if you move the hands around, changes from white to red. It's a little nod to Live and Let Die when Roger Moore twisted the bezel of his Rolex Submariner and turned the watch into a massive magnet. Now, no, this watch won't turn into a magnet. It's the worst thing you can do with a watch, to be fair, but it will have 2 different looks to it, and it looks flipping cool. Dome sapphire glass, beautiful 120 click bezel. Right now I've got it on an official NDC elastic parachute strap. These are the ones that Tudor show off in their boutiques because they are actually what the French Marines used for their submariners. I'll put a link to the description not only of this watch, but NDC strap company as well. This watch on pre-order is just £329. And if you want to see a more detailed story about how we came up with this watch, go and have a look at the shows in the description below. 39mm, around 12mm thick, and yours to have for a limited time only. Pre-order it now to guarantee no regrets. Now, the one watch brand a lot of small wristers are scared of is GShock. The brand make big watches, not only in diameter but thickness. It's mostly to do with the way they protect the module inside, but I think now has never been a better time to try on a GShock Square. The DW5600 you can get for around £50, but recently Casio have brought out a MIP GShock Square. MIP being memory in pixel, which gives it the most clearest and legible screen to ever be on a GShock Square. This can be connected to your phone via Bluetooth, and you can change the layout of it and the look of the screen. But this watch has solar power, so you don't need to change your battery, and has multi-band 6, so it's atomic timing. But look how clear the screen is. You can tell the time there, can't you? 10:33. Woohoo! out. These are around £159. They are sold out at the minute, which is a bit of a bummer, but they are not a limited run. No doubt a batch of these will be coming out again shortly, and those small wristers out there need to try a GShock. And more importantly, a MIP one. Okay, next watch from a brand called Baltic. They make fantastically vintage inspired watches. Recently, they've given a makeover to their hero model, which is the Aquascaphe dive watch. And I was very lucky enough to review the 37mm diver. Instead of a sandwich dial loom, we now have loom blocks. And it's just a more toolier, cleaner looking watch than its predecessor. And there really aren't many brands that make 37mm divers. But there is one word of warning. If you do go for a 37mm diver, make sure you get it on a bracelet, because you will be surprised how small the watch looks on a strap. Just having that metal fill the space between the lugs up gives 1, 2, 3 more millimeters to your perception of it on your wrist. But if you want to go for the slightly bigger one, Baltic offer a 39.5mm version, which would also look cool on our wrists. 12.9mm thick and a Strapaholic 20mm lug width. We've got a unidirectional 120 click bezel. Very nice, very grippy, double dome sapphire, and a Miyota automatic 9039 movement, which means we get a lovely 4 Hz, 28,800 beats per hour sweep. As all good divers have, this is 200 meters water resistant, and for £550 from a brand that has been around for around 5 to 6 years and made a pretty darn good name for themselves, I gave it the Mad Watch Collector seal of approval, especially on this beads of rice bracelet. Would love to know your thoughts.
Could you just click that like button, please? It really helps the channel. Thank you.
Now, for any small wrister out there, a field watch is a fantastic choice. They tend to be 36 to 38mm in diameter, and they look damn good. Now, I'm going to talk about one of my favorite brands, and that is Vertex. And I'm going to show off my bronze M36. So the case and the dial is modelled on the caliber 59. That's one of the Dirty Dozen watches from the 1940s. That was issued to the British military. To my eyes, Vertex are the Mac daddies of loom blocks on a dial, and making those markers and numbers just pop out. Now, the bronze version has this amazing deep dark racing green, and I've had this bronze watch for around a year now, and check out the patina. Here is what a year's worth of wear does to a bronze watch. To me, I think it enhances the dial color even more and feels more of an old vintage watch than the new one I got 360 days ago. Vertex leave no stone unturned. They make superb watches, all built and assembled in Switzerland. Automatic, Solita inside. Again, 4 Hz movement. I do like a smooth sweep, as you have noticed. These are not cheap at around £2,000, but with every independent watch brand, if you don't buy into the company, then you wouldn't buy into the price. But for me and what I look for in a watch, I love Vertex. So, God, I had to bring out my subby, didn't I? My 14060. Back when the Rolex Submariner was an actual tool watch and not a glorified show of wealth on your wrist. This has an amazing mix of vintage and modern aesthetics. This reference was a transition from the 5513 to more modern day technology. We now had sapphire glass, we had white gold indices, we had an actual ratcheting bezel, and we had a more refined and updated movement. What you get with these 5-digit Rolexes, you just have a more wearable watch that doesn't want to show off. We have nice thin lugs. This watch is 40mm in diameter, but it wears like a 39. But it is definitely one of my prized possessions in the collection, and I never thought I'd have one. And 5-digit subs fit us small wristers like a treat. Get on the BQ website in the description below for all the subbies they have on offer. I'm looking for an Explorer 2 now. My final watch of the show today, well, what can I say? It's the Casio Edifice EFK 100. Casio's first venture into the mechanical watch world. But they didn't do it alone. They got Seiko to give them their NH35 automatic movements. And I gotta be honest, I'm surprised how much I like this watch. I love the fact that two juggernauts, Casio and Seiko, have got together to take the world by storm and offer something that's new, old, new, old. Old new. The watch was around £300 if I remember rightly, and I was very surprised with how well not only the case finishing was, the dial finishing, it's a carbon fiber dial, which is pretty special. The indices and the handset are lovely, but also the bracelet, the articulation, the finishing on the links. Honestly came away thinking, well done, Casio. This watch is around 39 millimeters. It does wear slightly bigger just because we have male end links that protrude over the lug size, but I love it. And I don't usually like integrated bracelets or watches that look like they have integrated bracelets or watches that look too modern. This is a 21,600 beats per hour movement, so it's a 3 hertz, has around 38 to 48 hours of power reserve. It's hackable, it's hand winding, like all the watches I'm showing you today. But I'm so glad I got one of these, not only because I wear it a lot and it fits my wrist great, but to be at the first ladder of Casio's venture into the world of mechanical watches. Pretty cool. And they did it at a fair price, which you can't say a lot these days, can you? So there we go, 9 phenomenal watches, perfect for smaller wrists, but honestly any wrist can pull these watches off. You just have to realize that it's the man or the woman that wears the watch doesn't wear the man, woman. Yeah? Would I be happy if this was all I had in the collection? Hell yes. It would actually give me a nice sigh of relief instead of looking at all my watches I have and giving me anxiety that I've got too many and there aren't enough days in the week to wear them. But I'd love to know in the comments below, is there a watch right now you cannot live without? A watch you're wearing so much, your other watches are getting jealous. I'm always on the lookout for a good watch to review, and you guys are the best test bed for it. Thank you so much for watching till the end. If you want to hear my wife's thoughts on all these watches, go check my previous works out, you lazy bum. That'll give you something to do, won't it? And if you want to support the Mad Watch Collector anymore, we've got a Patreon now. See the shows early, behind the scenes content, blooper reels, private group chat, and get your name mentioned at the end of the show like this lovely lot. But if I've got you for a few more minutes, and I hope I have, why don't you check this show out? Oh, I mean, this is one of my best. You're gonna love it. Go on, click. You're gonna love it, honestly. Go on, click it. Click.